Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is entitled At Your Door. It was written by Ellen Eisenwill, Mark Morrison, Barbara Manoui, and Chris Adams, Scott D. Aniolowski, and Herbert Hike. I'm your game master, and this is episode 17. Our recap will be done by David Gasaway as his character, Dr. Desmond Flores. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. David?
Thank you. We've been captive in Big Jenny's cave now for some weeks. I'm not sure how many. She's been increasingly generous with us, but the strain is still showing. Chuck is more or less catatonic, and Ethan's become unreliable. When Jenny takes her monstrous dog Willie out, or while she's asleep, we've done some exploring in the caves. We've found a chamber that has writing in a language we can't recognize that squirms on the wall impossibly, and another chamber in which Jenny is keeping a mutant man corpse that is somewhat alive due to presumably the salty white powder she's experimenting with. Farther down into the cave, looking for an escape route, we found a seemingly infinite pit. Somewhere down there, my guess is Jenny's ghoul friend, Eddie, and his civilization, and her other strange associate, which she called Dr. Quiz, a taxonomically impossible intelligent insect creature that is experimenting with her blood and now ours. It promises a translation device in return for our blood samples. We'll see if we're still alive in 17 days or so, should it return. Jenny has left her own humanity well behind. She has 2 more arms now, and they're human-sized, which she thinks will help her in her work and possibly in her affair with Dr. Carlyle, except the hands have eyes in the palms. And that's where we are, in this cave.
Excellent. So,
I didn't even mention Du Vermis Mysteriis, which we're translating.
yes. It's a very difficult, ponderous tome at this point.
Yeah. We also learned that Jenny has a very balanced diet of crickets and more crickets.
I thought Ethan hallucinated that.
I wish.
That's why she never eats with us, right? Because the locusts are feeding themselves to her while she's sleeping. Her eyes glow green?
Yeah.
Kind of red, I think. Green sounds good, though. Yeah, so you know that the way her eyes are now being structured is she's probably able to see in the dark pretty well.
Right.
Things sort of calmed down and seem to be going rather normally for a few hours, and all of a sudden, Jenny says, all right, I get it. You guys are restless. You don't have anything better to do, but where is the crystal that Dr. Quiz brought earlier?
I don't know.
There's no one in here who could have taken it except one of you.
No, Jenny, I had it. I was trying to see if I could use it as a magnifier. My eyes aren't what they used to be. I've got it right here.
When she puts out her big, gigantic hand.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for telling the truth.
Oh, of course. We're all in this together.
These are vital to my current experiments.
Are they, you said your friend Dr. Quiz was from Yugoth?
Yes.
Did they come from there?
I don't know where they get them from.
So they must be extremely rare.
It's my understanding that the reason why they're on Earth in the first place is because of certain rare minerals that we have that they need access to. Hence, they're deep down in the ground mining.
Interesting.
did you know about them before you came to this cave, or
No. When one comes into contact with the mother, many things are revealed.
Does Dr. Quiz's civilization do anything with the mother?
They're aware of her.
They're aware of her, but they don't worship? How is that possible?
I'm not sure that they worship anything.
Do they know where it dwells? Because it seems to make her appear here, right? Like at Dawn Biozyme, she appeared out of thin air and then disappeared again. I would assume that she goes somewhere.
That's a difficult question to answer. She is always here, and yet just beyond our capability of seeing her. She's present in the darkness. She's present within the very flesh of our bodies. And she holds up her 4 little hands, or 2 little hands and her 2 big hands.
now, Jenny? Is that a gift from the? Is that a gift from the mother, or is that something you changed on yourself?
This is all a gift from the mother. She's changing me. I'm becoming something.
Now, like the endurance chant, is there any other kind of things that maybe we could learn?
You have Ludwig Prin's book. Study that.
I don't read Latin. Do I?
Well,
No, I don't.
there are certain things that might bring you in closer, but you have to be willing and able to change.
What's the able part?
It doesn't work for everyone. It's unpredictable. What I am is not what you would be if you followed the same path as I did.
What happens to people who aren't able to change?
Like any living thing that can't adapt, it dies.
I do hate to pry, but is that what happened to Noelle?
Listen. Everything is going to be okay. Don't worry about Noelle. And she becomes very upset and sort of walks away and heads towards her room.
I'm gonna go
You guys struck
follow
it
her.
out, guys.
All right.
Try and
Ethan's
talk
going to go with her. All right. She lets you. You follow her in that direction. So what are the other 4 of you want to do? And in a minute, Ethan will have a private conversation.
Dr. Liege, can you identify what that crystal is possibly made out of? Can we like shave a part of it off?
Well, from what I saw,
No idea. It's a bright, almost neon yellow crystal. It's semi-transparent. Seems very hard.
did I ever handle it?
No.
Okay.
But it is just sitting there on the counter. There's a couple of them.
Okay. I'll go up and tap it. Scratch it with my fingernail.
Yeah, you can't scratch it with your fingernail.
I don't know. It could be some sort of quartz with an impurity. I don't know.
You don't have anything you could do a Mohs test, so.
Yeah.
How's our new non-caged bedroom coming along?
Well,
Has time passed so we've gotten our IKEA supplies?
not really, but she's giving you like a broom and things like that so that you can sweep out the dirt from the area, and she's going to more or less let you guys do what you want. She can order furniture, but she hasn't done any of that yet. It's literally hours.
So, Dr. Flores, do you want to try to get a Charlie to come with us to help us maybe clean that room out? Maybe give him something to his motor skills to use?
He might be able to figure out a broom.
Yes.
Is that illuminated now at least?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You've strung up some lights in there. You've also noticed it's too high up for you to reach. And I mentioned that the detonator was over by her area. There are 2 wires going out of the detonator and up into the ceiling and across to that big room.
Right.
So you know there's something up there.
Right.
It's worth exploring.
Okay.
I also want to give Jenny and Dr. Carlisle as much distance as I can.
Okay.
So that room seems like a good place to put her.
But also, with the cage, I can't get off of what you said about the change, and now thinking Noelle, do you think she put Noelle in there as she was undergoing some kind of mutation? Very violent, maybe?
Yeah, I think something happened to Noelle. I don't think it was on purpose. But
Right. So she might have dreamt some of the...
yeah, I also think we shouldn't bring it up. She gets agitated every time. Yeah, you know. Yeah. But
I was hoping to prod her into some humanity earlier by mentioning her, but it seems like it's just
yeah, it's like a sore subject there.
all right.
I'm gonna keep. Has she seen me looking through her journals?
We did it while she was asleep before.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not. She doesn't know, but obviously they're just lying there.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going through because I think that the key to figuring out that what I believe is the teleporter is in there. So I'm going to keep reading it.
Okay. All right. So if you would all remove your headphones, and I'll give you a thumbs up when you can come back. I'll play with Dr. Carlisle. All right, Dr. Carlisle. She takes you. You go in the other room with her, and she's sitting there. You can't. You take her in the other room, you're in the other room with her, and she's sobbing a little bit. And I assume you try to comfort her.
Yeah.
She's like, mute.
Right.
She starts sobbing, and she's saying, you don't understand. Noelle came up here to surprise me, but she's the one who got surprised. She didn't expect me to look like this. She didn't expect this. And she got frightened, and she tried to run. And I was very upset. I didn't want her to just leave. She's my best friend. And I used the gate to come out at the garage as she was pulling out with her car. And as she blindly raced down the road, she almost hit me. And when she did, she went off the road and crashed the car. And it hit a tree on the way down, and I immediately jumped down there to try and save her. I tore the roof off the car, and she starts crying. She broke her back. She broke her neck. And I picked her up. She was still okay, and she was still alive. And I brought her back here, and I told her, I'll fix you. I'll fix you. I'll put you back together again. And that's what I'm working on. If I can just bring her back, then it'll all be okay.
Right. Now I'm gonna go over and like rub like whatever. I don't know if she's sitting down or like put my hand on her.
Well, that's the information that she gives you, so I'll tell her.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are still alone. You can vaguely off in the distance hear a mumbling sound that sounds like Dr. Ethan is talking to her and she's talking back, but you can't understand what they're saying.
Right.
Just over here, sweeping the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, should we go back to our translation, Dr. Mills?
Yeah, I assume I'm
It
not
gives
having
me headaches.
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm not having any luck in these journals.
Dr. Heather, Dr. David, Dr. David, Dr. Desmond, do a luck roll for me.
No.
Just made it. 50 for 52.
Desmond, you find part of the book that's definitely structured differently, as if it were maybe some kind of a spell. It just, the way that it's written out looks different. You don't know what it means or what it does or what it says yet, but if you wanted to concentrate on that, then we could, we'll give you some rolls in a little while.
Okay. And that's also in Latin?
Yes, correct.
Right. Yeah, having noted it, I'm gonna copy it out because that way I'll be able to go over it more rapidly and specifically.
Okay.
Nothing bad can happen.
So Ethan is gone for a good hour and a half. And when he comes back, Jenny's not with him. Jenny's apparently maybe fallen asleep or taking a nap or something. But as Dr. Carlisle comes back, he looks a little white and kind of wide eyes, and he's not moving very quickly. He's obviously seen or something's disturbed him.
Dr. Carlisle, need to sit down for a second?
Yeah.
Here, there's this nice clean part of the cave floor that I've spent this time sweeping.
I just kind of sit down and I'm like rubbing my head. Just
what happened?
And Tom, this is what we referenced earlier today, or
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Just making sure.
But that it's up to you what you want to do.
Yeah. How should I put this? Like 10 out of 10 in one way and like 0 out of 10 in another. It was amazing on different levels that I can't comprehend, but at the same time, no, there's just something inherently wrong with what I just did. But I am thinking about doing it again, though.
What did you do, Dr. Carlisle?
Well, take a guess.
Let me
What
smell
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. La, 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 la.
What happens in the East Caves?
What happens in the cave stays in the cave.
I'm walking away.
But
you said 0 out of 10?
it was just a lot of real freaky weird shit going on. But there was some amazing things that I've never known a body could do and touch it. I don't kiss and tell, but
Well,
Let's get you some hot cocoa.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I think I know a couple of ladies back home. If you wrote that down, they would definitely buy your romance novel. So I'll
And
walk off.
I can't really get into specifics, but anything that happened with Noelle was a mistake. So,
What?
I mean, don't go telling her whatever, but Noelle came up, freaked out at the way she looked, and took off tearing down the road, crashed into a tree, and drove off of the thing. Jenny tried to stop the stopper from going off the cliff and ripped the top. That's why it was in such damage.
Mhm.
She didn't try and stop her from getting away. She tried to stop the car from going off the cliff and couldn't.
So Noelle was going through changes. Was she put in the cage?
No.
No, she was
Noelle
afraid
came
of
up,
the changes that Jenny was having.
correct, and freaked out, took off
Oh,
tearing down the road at night, blind driving in the dark, and hit a tree and basically was going to go off the cliff. Jenny tried to stop it, ripped the top off, got her out. Now, I think she's dead, but I'm not sure. She said she's going to try and fix her, but please don't, like, if she gets pissed at me, she can crush me in ways you don't even know. So
I believe it. Oh my goodness.
it wasn't malicious intent. I think it was just like when we first saw her.
Yeah, she's terrifying. And Noelle had known her for a long time, so it was probably a lot more troubling for her.
And that was her best friend, so she was
Yeah.
completely torn up about it. And every time you bring it up, it's just like she blames herself, and you're like putting a dagger deeper, you know. No,
But
no
you
good
don't
will
know where
come.
she's storing the body until she
No, I didn't push her
perfects
for
the
that.
salt.
I didn't push her for that information at all. I just took what I could get.
well, that's good. Next time you're doing some pushing, if you could try to find out what the cage was for.
I see what you did there. I like that.
Yeah.
And now a little bit of the color is coming back to me, and it takes a lot of work. She's a big girl.
Do you need some water?
Yeah, I think we could all use a hot cocoa. Maybe also the next time you're pushing, you could see if Jenny is interested in getting us some liquor.
Oh,
I think this
I
cave would be a
agree.
lot more easy to deal with.
I didn't even think of that, but I'm sure that I can't speak for her, but I don't see that being a problem. And what do you want? So I can.
You know, I've been looking at the rubbing alcohol with deep passion, so whatever.
And as long as it's not
Dealer's choice.
denatured.
Right.
Yeah. Just wine. Wine would be fine.
You know, and we're going to have, at some point continue to talk about setting this room up for us to inhabit more comfortably, so we can include that with, I mean, I'd be happy with a futon and a lamp, honestly.
I could go for some pizza and beer, and I'll see if we can get some wine and have a little pizza and drinks party. I'll see what I could do.
She has ordered pizza for you guys.
Yeah.
That's happened occasionally.
All right.
The guy
And somehow
leaves-
she gets it here still hot.
Well, the guy leaves it up at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got a good stride. So, okay.
Also, we could probably use with a change of clothing, even no matter how many times we go to the water cave. These, the outfits we wore when captured are not going to last forever.
Yeah, they're getting pretty worn.
Yeah, I wonder if we can send a message. I wonder if she'll let us have our grad students drop some clothes off. Probably not.
You want to take a wild guess there, Dr. Leash?
Yeah.
I wonder how they're doing. What do you think they've been up to?
I'm sure Jack's working very hard.
I imagine they reviewed all those videotapes a few times by now.
Yeah, I know he has.
Claire doesn't strike me as the kind who would like that stuff.
Yeah.
You never know, though.
It's somewhat hard for me to believe that we haven't seen any indication of a search party at this point, given the damage to Charles's place and our vehicle.
Well, maybe there has been, but who would think to look down here? No one's mentioned that there's a cave or anything. They could easily just walk right on by.
All right, but if they rang the doorbell and Jenny answered, that's what she did for us. They could figure it out.
Yeah,
We did.
Yeah, Jenny needs a better alibi than just.
It's true, but
Voice
they
the
could
door.
also think maybe we grabbed her because remember the door is broken in. I broke it. They could think we came up there and grabbed her.
It's fair.
Right, but there's the speakers in the house. Yeah. There's that damned light switch that caused her to come and grab us.
And that police officer.
Yeah, if they kill the power.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, my burning memory drives that police officer to come save us.
Yeah. I'm sure you were charming. Yeah.
I'm sure you made an impression.
Although he's going to find more than a satanic cult down here. This is on another level.
Yeah, even before he meets the ghouls. Yeah, so let's see. We don't know how many days it was before she let us wander freely. But since then, we'll be able to tell from the computer and things how much time is passing. It's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
No, about 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I'd been kind of like chipping, my sleep cycles to try and get at least a somewhat decent count.
Yeah, that's something. But with the ether and the lack of natural light, who knows?
Oh, I know.
I wonder this is how people in submarines feel after a while.
I wonder if she'd let us go out and just walk with the dog when she goes out. Maybe even one at a time. We could look around.
That's worth a try. She, I'm sure, appreciates the health benefits of vitamin D, and with Willie around, it's not like we're going to be able to make a run for it. I mean, even without Willie, of course.
Dr. Leach,
Dr. Leach does too well.
I could have hid better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
A dog could have smelled you.
If he wasn't holding us into our cage. But probably Jenny could, too.
Yeah.
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Well, that's not funny.
I don't know about the blood of an Englishman.
I'm pretty sure she could see in the dark, so.
So after about an hour, Jenny reappears, and she seems in a really good mood.
Hello.
You all know kind of why, but as she comes out, she's humming a little tune and thinking, well, we need to fix up that room of yours. Any requests?
Pizza and beer.
Pizza and beer, I think that sounds in order. Anything for you, Ethan.
Thanks. One of the guys wanted wine. Heather wanted wine, maybe.
Yeah, a little wine.
Wine?
That could be arranged, sure.
Desmond?
In terms of the room, I'm happy with a futon. And maybe a bedside lamp, but maybe we could use some fresh clothes.
It's going to be tricky. Why don't you all write down your sizes, and I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. You can explain to the delivery person that your cousins are having their birthday or something. There's got to be a reason to buy a bunch of different size clothing that isn't too strange. And it doesn't have to be, we could wear, I'd be happy with hospital scrubs, just something that was, clean and new.
She suddenly starts to look distracted. Like she's thinking about something and she's not really listening to you.
Do we hear anything?
No.
What time of day would we guess it was? What part of our day cycle is it like?
It's probably getting on towards evening. Probably around the time that she would take the dog out. So we'll say that's what happens. She says, all right, you all stay inside. I'm going to take the dog out. I trust that you won't get into any funny business.
No, of course.
And she She calls Willie and takes Willie outside the usual way she does it.
Yeah, before she goes, I was like, Jenny, is there a chance like one of us could go out and maybe we could cycle who gets out and get some fresh air? I mean, just one at a time you could keep an eye on. I mean, concerned about the rickets, the vitamin D.
She says, I'll think about it.
Okay, well, that's most we can ask.
And when she says that, she says it somewhat dismissively. But,
Right. Yeah.
she goes outside and closes the large block.
Okay.
She closes the boulder.
The boulder.
All right. Now, you said that those wires were going up into the ceiling. Are they in the lab they're going into the ceiling or in what's going to be our bedroom?
Yes, they are going. They're from her lab table.
Okay. And how high up is the ceiling?
The ceiling that they're going up to is probably about 30 feet up.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing. Okay. Right now, I'm just going to kind of look around, see if she's got built like a. She obviously had to drill in there or something to run the wires.
There's no lights up there, so you
Okay.
can't see. It's all
right.
in shadows. And
Okay.
there are stalactites hanging down that obscure exactly where it's going.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
One question for the keeper. I had taken 1 hit point when we first came into the cave. Would that be healed by now?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Although after this afternoon, maybe you've been re-injured.
Constitution's worn out. Okay.
I certainly
Or
hope it
maybe
wasn't.
he's completely revitalized.
Okay. I'm going to ask Ethan, hey, did you see any books in her bedroom when you were in there?
No, but I really wasn't paying attention to much else.
Yeah, I understand. There's no books or papers in there. Okay.
Just had that conversation I told you. Well, she's outside. Yeah, the conversation I told you about earlier, and then it was game on.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes I've heard guys like to think about other things too.
I don't.
Yeah.
I start to shrink back a little.
Right, if we trace the wire, we can trace the wires from the detonator up to the ceiling of the lab, and they disappear into a wall of the chamber.
I'm sorry. They go up the wall of the lab, across the ceiling of the lab, and out into that large room that you first entered near the entrance.
Right, not our new bedroom, but the
correct
front hall, the foyer of the cave.
Front hall. Yeah, ideally, probably to collapse that part and leave the rest of the cave system intact.
Right.
Just to see.
And it's not specifically lit, and there are stalactites, so the wires just disappear into the haze, and we can't.
Right. And she's tall enough that she could have
just jammed something up there.
Right.
Yeah. If we're here long enough, I'm going to want to blow that up when she's out walking Willie and see if it leaves a hole that I can climb out of. It'll certainly leave a big enough mess that the authorities will find our bodies. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you guys need to worry about trying to get through that portal that she uses. Leave the cave intact so we can continue our work here, and you guys make a run for it.
So you're still committed to stay?
Am I?
Nah, that was him.
Okay.
You're good.
An alien race that's going to bring us alien technology. Where else in the world, without some secret government organization, can we get our hands on that?
No, I understand. But what can we do with the information? I don't think we're ever going to be free.
Well,
we could learn the most amazing things in the history of the world and then do nothing with them.
That endurance chant was just one page of one of these books here.
Right,
with a
but
translation
she got those books from somewhere else, Dr. Carlisle. I'm sure we can find more stuff outside of this cave than what she even has. I'm doubtful she has all there is to know about any of this.
The first trade-off is a translation device with an alien race. Who knows what comes next? They obviously have ships that could break atmosphere and go across galaxies. Maybe we could jump on a ship with them. Maybe, I mean, the possibilities are endless. It would be foolhardy to not want. I'm not trying to convince anybody to follow what I'm doing, but I have the potential to be on an alien vessel traveling the galaxy in 17 days a translator, maybe 20 days after that another technology, maybe 6 months after that to the stars. Where else in the universe? Like, it's just unfathomable the possibilities that are literally at my fingertips right now.
But
At
Dr.
all of our
Carlisle,
fingertips.
what happens if we don't get out and stop the people who put Dom Biozyme up to what they were doing? What does that mean for everybody who's going to still be here, huh?
Maybe
think about that.
Maybe if we, with enough time, we can convince Jenny to help us hunt down these creatures. Look at the size of her. She could probably grab it by the,
It's not little creatures that I'm concerned about anymore. I mean, if this substance that she's taking makes some people better and some people kills certain people, I feel like we're on the verge of the worst eugenics disaster of all time.
The
genocide.
New start of mankind. New genetic mutations. New Homo sapiens superior.
I hear what you're saying there, Dr. Carlisle, and all, but I think we're putting the cart ahead of the horse. First thing we got to do is figure out how to get out of here before we even decide who's leaving.
But I do appreciate.
We got it in.
Right. I appreciate your position though about destroying the situation that you and Jenny have here, at the least.
I have no qualms about trying to keep any of you here. I choose to stay. I don't expect any of you else. I will not interfere, but I don't try and hurt her or the research is all I ask.
Right.
Other than that, I'm 100% on your side. I want you guys to go home. And that's honest. That's not...
And you can always change your mind if we do find a way to escape.
As long as
I'm not suggesting you will, but you will have the freedom to.
You guys hear the boulder being slid to the side, and in his usual manner, Willie comes bouncing in.
Up against the wall.
Yeah.
And after a few moments, you hear the boulder go back, and you hear Jenny coming. She gets to the entrance to the lab, and she sort of puts her hands up like this, and she's resting them on a couple of stalactites or whatever. And she's has a look on her face of kind of deep thought. And you suddenly find that she's just standing there staring at you.
Is there something we can do for you, Jenny?
She does. She's working something out in her mind, but she's not answering you.
That makes me incredibly nervous.
Yes, I agree. I'm going to go back into the cell and see. I'm going to try and walk out of her vision, essentially, is what I'm going to try and do.
Okay. When you walk into the cell, just as you're going into the cell, you see her sort of go. And she moves forward rather quickly, and she grabs Chuck.
Oh, no.
And she says to the three of you who aren't in the cell, get in the cell.
Yep.
Okay.
Moving in that direction. Is something the matter?
Get in the cell.
Compliant.
Yep. Don't feel like dying today.
So,
How's Chuck taking this?
Chuck is still sort of catatonic, but he's kind of looking up into her boobs, I guess, because she's got him right here. When you get in the cell, she locks the door, and then she's picking up Chuck like he's a kid, and sort of slings him under her arm and just walks towards the forbidden room.
Mm-hmm.
Is
And
Dr. Carlisle in the cell?
yes,
Listening for screams.
What do you think set her off?
do a listen roll.
Oh, what?
Listen roll.
Oh, listen.
That's a fail.
Oh, two.
Fail.
Swap out. Fail. Swap out dice.
02, and yeah, if you passed, you can hear just vaguely the echoing sounds of talking. And after a few more moments, you see her come back out. She goes to her lab and she picks up a number of things, including the crystals, and then walks immediately back without acknowledging you or saying anything. And you guys are in there for maybe half an hour. Do you guys want to do anything while you're in there?
And all the talking was Jenny's unmistakable double voice.
Correct.
Chuck wasn't responding.
Correct.
The zombie wasn't responding. Did she have blood on her hands when she came back to pick up the crystals?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we're in a locked room. Gonna see. We got the that one spell we wrote down. Guess we can start looking at that. We've kind of explored this cage pretty well. We know what's in here.
Yeah, absolutely. This passage struck me as very interesting, and I don't know what to make of it. So perhaps if we put our heads together, we can get around it.
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say the only thing I could think of is by bringing up what's her friend's name? I'm sorry. Noelle. It might have started her thinking about what she can do, and maybe she's gonna use Chuck's energy or life force to try. I don't know. And then I just kind of.
Do you feel particularly like this is a good situation still, Dr. Carlisle?
Right about now, you hear a scream from the other room, a man's scream.
Oh, Jesus. We gotta get out of here.
I've always assumed that we were going to either be scientific subjects or sacrifices, and I understand why she chose Chuck's first, but we're all doomed.
I want you all to do power rolls.
God.
44 is a pass.
Failed. 89.
60 out of 60.
Okay.
Ooh, got a hard.
Okay. If you failed, which I think Desmond was the only one.
No, I failed also.
Okay. You can hear Jenny saying something, and she's getting progressively louder as she's saying it. You can't understand the words. They're not in English. But Desmond and Heather, you can feel almost an impact on the inside of your head. like a pressure that suddenly is there.
Right.
So much for studying magic.
Yeah.
And the screamings stop abruptly. And then time passes.
Those crystals. There were similar crystals in Don Biozyme, weren't there?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, she took the crystals into a dark room. Did she just do what I think she just did?
Depends what you think. I can't.
Do you think she brought that thing here?
Wouldn't we have sensed it? I mean,
I don't know. I didn't feel anything, but you seem visibly affected.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'm not sure the Divine Mother would even fit in here.
Apparently, according to her, the Divine Mother is everywhere all the damn time. Dr. Flores, I don't know.
I'm not sure that's entirely literal. But, there's a reason that the flat rock is where she appears, I think. I don't know.
That bottomless
I think she'll bring Chuck's body back.
Maybe
Or
she'll swap it. She'll swap it with that thing from Boston.
After another 10 minutes or so, you once again hear Jenny yelling something in a foreign language in the other room. And go ahead, Margaret.
Oh, I was going to say, she sacrificed cows to bring it last time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody do a POW roll again.
Come on, dice.
54 is a pass.
I failed.
Fail. They're getting worse.
000.
Not that bad.
All right.
I'm gonna drop a luck just to pass that.
Okay. Those of you who failed, Ethan and Heather, we'll get to Desmond in a second. You once again feel this horrible pressure inside of your head. Dr. Desmond, Dr. Flores, you become completely disoriented and have to sit down on the ground or you're going to keel over completely. And a few more minutes go by, and all of a sudden, you see Jenny come walking out, and walking in front of her is Chuck, but he's naked. He's still catatonic. And she sort of walks him into the lab in front of her, and then she stands him there and she examines him.
Did you give him the milk? I'm like leaning up on the bars to get a closer look at Chuck.
She's like, shh.
I'm going to try and look and see if there's any visible cuts or scars on it. Well, not scars.
Yeah. There are some interesting marks on Chuck's body. There are red sort of bands that there's one that goes kind of from his groin around his hip to his buttock. That definitely it's been bruised or made bright red by, he's a black man, so I'm not sure how exactly that works, but it's definitely different in color. And there's one up by his arm, his other arm, that completely circumdoes the whole thing. But it doesn't look like the skin is broken or anything like that. And Chuck is just completely
just like he was previously, right? Like mental state?
Well, maybe worse. Maybe he's, shaking just a little bit. And she puts her hand on his head and she sort of pets him a little. And she's like, it'll pass. It'll pass. And she turns him around, and then she looks over at the 5 of you. And just stares at you for a few minutes. I think we're ready.
For
Ethan, I'm going to let you out.
okay.
But the rest of you have to stay in. I don't want you interfering.
Why
So
would we interfere with your experiments?
I don't want to take the chance. All right, if you promise to stay out here.
Of course. Are you going to make Chuck better?
I'm not worried about Chuck. So she comes over and she unlocks the cage. And she says, Ethan, you can come with me.
Okay.
And she, you're in front of her, so she's marching behind you, and she's giving you a little bit of nudge, nudging you towards the forbidden room.
All right.
You're going to go?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so she's going to take you. What are the rest of you going to do?
Are we out of the cage?
Yeah, she's let you out as long as you promise not to interfere. You and Chuck is there naked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna examine Chuck.
Yeah, that's what my thought was.
Unless she considers that interfering, but I don't know.
I don't care. I'm just checking him out.
Do a spot hidden for me.
01.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Chuck seems to be in fairly decent health. I mean, he's thin. He doesn't look any thicker than he did before. These red marks on his arms. Do you have a medical roll that you can make?
Not really. I don't.
I have the medical.
Dr. Carlisle, you're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have biology at 60, which should be somewhat
That'll work. Yeah, or even if you've got really good first aid.
I have 50 medicine.
Okay, why don't you guys roll that?
And that's a 19. There you go.
Yeah, I rolled a 27, which is hard for biology.
These red inflamed areas on Chuck's body, and there's a couple of them. It looks like a physical reaction to trauma, except that there's no wound. You can't find any evidence of a wound, and it's not quite like bruising, because bruising would be black and blue. There'd be hemorrhaging under the skin. And it doesn't really look like that either, but it's definitely red and inflamed. As if it were severely damaged, but then somehow not damaged.
Does it look at all like a scar that happened in the past?
No?
No, it's current.
Not at all.
And it's inflamed. Is it also warmer than the rest of him?
Yeah. And in fact, when you touch the area, he definitely reacts with a little bit of pain, flinches. You also notice, somebody got the 01 or?
I got the 01 on the spot hidden.
You notice that wherever these red marks are, he doesn't have any body hair.
Look, all his hair is gone.
It's
right
like-
along these areas.
Yeah, it's funny.
Ethan's in the other room crying like a baby.
Does it look as though suction was applied, perhaps?
You're not sure. It's
Or heat?
as if the hairs are completely shaved off. They're gone.
Yeah.
And right where those marks and stuff are.
Other than that, he looks all right. He doesn't have, his limbs aren't in the wrong place like the fellow in the cave.
Correct. And he's kind of wide-eyed, like he's even more traumatized than he was before.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And how does it sound behind the boulder? She has to move the boulder to get her in herself, of course.
Correct. The boulder's actually just been slid to the side, so it's not closed. Ethan gone inside.
Is there a book that she was looking at, like lab notes, right before she took Willie out?
Yeah, sure.
Gonna hop up there because I assume it's up a little high. And I'm like, hey, is there anything in here like describing what she thought this experiment was going to do?
Well, she was at the moment. Looks like she was researching something on calcium, and the molecular structure of bone and things like that.
Okay.
But then there's also a lot of that weird notation that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Ethan. Dr. Carlisle.
Yes.
She takes you in the other room, and you can see that she has flattened out areas in the room by slicing off stalagmites. Stalagmites are actually fairly soft. It's mostly calcium. You can see the zombie in the corner that's chained up. And you can do a spot hidden for me.
09.
Oh, very nice. You notice that all around the place where the zombie has been chained up, there are marks on the walls like scratches and blood and stuff like that. And it occurs to you that she probably kept her experiments in the cage before you guys showed up.
Makes sense.
You notice that she picks up a vial a beaker with the white powder in it that's got a label on it. It's chemical notation. And there's kind of a cubby or so in the room that she has a body. And it's wrapped up, and she pulls it out, and she lays it on top of one of these stalagmites. And she looks over at you, and she says, "No talking." She says, "And keep your fingers crossed." So she unwraps the body, and it's obviously the decaying body of a young woman. Probably Noelle. That's the obvious guess.
Right.
And she lays it on top, and she takes a certain measure of this chemical, and she adds it to the body. And then she raises her arms up like this. She raises her little tiny hands, and she begins reciting some sort of a magical spell. I mean, you've heard magical spells now. You know that they're weird and they're hard to pronounce. And she's able to pronounce syllables that you can't pronounce because you don't have two voices speaking at the same time. And as she does this, there's that strange impact inside your mind. You can feel a pressure sort of building up. And Noelle's body and this powder that's on top of her collapse down into a little pile of what looked like crystals, sparkling little crystals. And then she stops what she's saying, and then she begins saying another spell. Do a listen roll.
24. Yeah, basic success.
Okay. It takes you just a moment to realize that it sounds like the same spell in reverse.
Okay.
And as she's raising her voice and she's getting louder as she's doing it, and when she sort of reaches the crescendo, you see these crystals sort of sparkle with light and reform Noelle on the table, undecayed and in perfect condition, a naked young woman. And she sort of breathes a sigh and she reaches forward and she's like, Noelle, are you awake? Can you hear me? And you see Noelle sort of move around a little bit and suddenly look up into Jenny's face and scream.
Can
You guys all hear the scream from the other room.
Can I go over it so she sees a normal person and you're okay?
Sure. Do that would really be psychoanalysis. You're trying to fix her.
I have base in that.
So you try and help calm her down, and she looks absolutely terrified. And after a couple of seconds of screaming, she just goes dead silent, and you see her just sort of staring up, wide-eyed like this and shaking all over like she's going into shock. And Jenny's, get her a blanket.
There's something there?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll grab her a blanket, cover her. Can I do a medical roll?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
But you wrap her up in a blanket and you help her down off this thing. And she's kind of like Chuck at this point. She's shaking. She's not responding. She's wide-eyed and terrified. She's obviously had some serious sanity loss in the last moment.
Jenny, her brain, she can't take this.
Well, and you see, Jenny is once again like petting her hair, and she's like, "She'll be okay. She'll be okay. Just give her some time. She needs time to recover. Let's take her out into the light."
So I'm gonna take her by the hand, like the wrist and the hand, like kind of guide her.
You kind of have to guide her.
Yeah.
And Jenny's helping, and of course, it doesn't help that by this time Willie, who may have also felt the mental impact, comes running this direction, and he sees her. And Nolly's reaction is also, of sheer terror. But
Jenny, if you care about your friend, you and your dog might want to stay out of her vision for a little while, at least until we could start. Like, I'm talking weeks.
She's like, but don't worry, she'll be okay. Just take some time to recover. Just take some time. And Dr. Carlisle, you can see there are places on Jenny, on Noelle's neck and
red
across her back that are bright red, like the other, like Chuck.
Guys, I'm coming out with a guest. Do not freak out.
Guest?
She needs help, just like Chuck. Just take it easy. Don't rush. And I'm telling her, we're here. There's a bunch of doctors. We're gonna help you. Just even if she don't understand me, that tone, the tonality of the voice,
right,
and repeating the same phrases over. We're here to help you.
Just tell her from Sasquatch Watch.
Right.
So you bring Noelle Rand out into the lit area of the lab, and you guys all see her. She's wrapped in a blanket.
And she's alive.
And Jenny sets her down in a chair, and we have to give her some food. We have to help her. She'll recover. And you can see that Jenny is very nervous, but
Hopeful.
yeah, and she's also, it worked. I can't believe it worked.
Gonna make a sanity check.
Yeah, I was going to ask that
Yeah,
too.
you can do that.
Congratulations, Jenny. We need some broth and some hot tea. Very, very light substances going in our.
I failed. I'm gonna
Fail.
take a point.
I actually made that despite being significantly damaged.
If you failed, take 2. If you didn't, take 1.
I rolled 000.
Yeah, except that you watched it happen. Yeah, take 2.
All right.
But that's 2 is probably a fifth of what you have left anyway.
I'm down to 12. 12 massive points.
That's right. You still got a
Hang
grip.
it in there.
That's nothing.
So at this point, Ginny has become so happy. And, oh, yes, I'll make some soup. We can give her some soup. We can get her hydrated.
Just broth, some crackers, and some tea. That's,
So that's what she starts working on. What do the rest of you want to do?
I'm going to go over there and examine her body, and I'm like, was she really dead? So I'm going to look for, like, because if she was in a car accident, like a broken neck or blunt force trauma or something like that.
Well, you definitely find red marks where her injuries were.
Okay.
The skin looks a different color. There's no hair on those areas.
Heather, do you think she killed Chuck as a final experiment before trying on Noelle?
I think we're beyond think at this point.
Yeah. But I mean, he had a mark on his waist and on his arm. I mean,
right. Well, she just squoze him.
Yeah, just kind of just push him down, but yeah, I think almost
that's a reasonable hypothesis here in the insane world that we now occupy.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna try some basic, I'm gonna try to test Noelle's cognitive abilities under the limited circumstances we have. Could she follow my finger? Does she turn her head when I click my fingers?
To a limited degree. When you hold up your finger, I mean, she's kind of scared. Right. You're not sure whether she's comprehending what she's seeing at this point. Right. Movement scares her.
Right. So we have to be real gentle. And I'm going to use her name a lot. And I'll introduce us. I'm Desmond, Noelle. We've been looking for you. We're glad we found you. This is Margaret, Noelle. We've been looking for you. We're glad we found you.
So she remains somewhat catatonic, except when Jenny moves around, she, reacts in fear.
Oh, Jenny, can you take Willie away too? He's so excited, and Noelle's pretty scared.
Willie, go to the guard room. Okay, Mommy.
Thank you. Willie's a good boy.
I really need 2 things. A drink and to get out of here.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a little celebration.
Yeah, pizza and beer. If Noelle can keep down her soda crackers and chicken soup.
Well, let's do that then. I'll order pizza and beer, and we'll have a party to celebrate.
We gotta
great idea.
Maintain quiet around Noelle. I mean, we could have fun, but let's not disturb her. This is gonna be a long road. But
so
well done.
This is kind of what happens, that as the hour goes on, you guys try to feed her some broth, and she takes it. And Noelle has ordered pizza, 4 or 5 pizzas, and beer. And when those things arrive upstairs, she leaves for a few minutes to go get them.
Does she go through the front boulder?
Yeah, she does. No, she goes through the gate.
When Jenny leaves to get the pizza, out of earshot of Noelle, I want to tell the rest of the group she was deceased. I saw the decayed body. It turned to like a dust, then it crystals, and then what you see before you.
So
Like,
If she went,
So it's
that's
it's
insane.
it's the white salt, and it's a spell. And
One
spell in
spell.
reverse.
Yes, exactly.
That's insane.
I want to
Having-
watch the gate. If she went through the gate, I want to watch her come back through it.
Okay. If you go and do that, you see that it's very much, she goes up to the gate and stops for just a moment and then steps through it like it's not, like it's just a hole in the wall. And when she comes back through, it's like she just emerges from the stone itself, like
yeah.
with the pizzas.
Right.
You need help carrying any of that?
It's like, sure.
Yeah.
Margaret, you weigh approximately a tenth of what Jenny does.
So next, you start to lay out the pizzas, and she has a folding table, like one of those cheap ones that you can get from the store, and she unfolds it and starts laying out the pizza for people to. You guys pull chairs or benches or whatever she has, and she sets Noelle at the head of the table. And at this point, Noelle is no longer reacting, but she is still just kind of staring off into space. And Jenny comes up behind her, and with her little hands and eyeballs, she begins brushing Noelle's hair and braiding it into braids.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenny looks so happy.
I'd like to propose a toast to miracles.
I don't think miracles have anything to do with what happened here today.
Yeah.
Miracles.
So having been the one helping analyze the white powder, does this give me any new insight into what that is?
Yeah. She needed to add whatever was missing from Noelle since her damage. All the chemicals involved are chemicals that you would find in the human body.
Mm-hmm.
So she was adding. It reminds you of alchemy, the concept of essential salts, as if somebody had been reduced down to their essential salts and then rehydrated somehow. That's what it sounds like Dr. Ethan is describing.
So combined sanity and chemistry roll?
Well, it's weird. I'm not sure you need a sanity roll, but now some of what's written there though makes more sense. So I think you could do a chemistry skill roll for your skill to improve at some point.
Right.
All right.
I asked Jenny, I'm like going, where did you even come up with this idea to even go down this path of research? I mean, to discover this.
She's like, well, how far have you gotten?
In my research?
In reading the Vermis Mysteries.
Not further enough, apparently. So it was in that book, it talked about this.
It hinted at it.
Wow.
It gave me the ideas. And suddenly the doorbell rings.
Who's that?
Jenny looks over at the mechanism, and she's like, shit. and immediately gets up and walks over to it. Hello? Yes, Miss Armbruster. We're with the police. We're looking for 6 missing people. Can you come down and talk to us? I'm afraid I'm very sick. No, I can't. It's very important that we speak with you directly, Miss Armbruster. And Ginny immediately smashes the doorbell, and she's like, "Fuck! What are we going to do now?"
I could portray you when I talk to him. I mean, did I recognize the voice of the cop?
No.
No, he
Too distorted.
Yeah, he wouldn't know what you look like, I'm assuming, unless you went around town before he got here.
She says, "I have to check." And she goes towards the gate room. What do you guys want to do?
This is bad. This is going to be the thing that motivates her to do something even more insane.
She's already smashed the intercom.
Blast!
Yep.
We could alert the police to where we are if we detonate the front entrance.
No, don't do that.
I don't know. I mean, it's a steepish cliff. If that room is collapsed, there might well be a place for us to crawl over the rubble out. We're all having a pizza party in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
The gate room is the next chamber over. When she pauses before she goes through,
Mm-hmm.
if one of us ran for it, might we pass through too? We wonder. I wonder. Not that Jenny wouldn't probably just smash me on the other side, but my impulse to get out is considerable.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe the trick is just believing it's going to work and just passing through, because she's not making any signs or saying anything. I mean, maybe just
she might be looking at symbols with infrared vision.
She could, and we have no chance of recreating that. But
if it's permeable temporarily, maybe I could permeate with her.
Let's go for it.
While they're doing that, there's that weird little space where Jenny can't get at us. That's in her room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go run over. I guess as they're all doing what she's leaving through the gate, I'm gonna go run over to where that crack is in the side of the cliff, and just scream at the top of my lungs, "We're down here! Save us!"
All right.
Over and over and over again.
I'm not even going to make you roll luck on that one. I imagine a woman screaming down near the river.
"She's keeping all of us down here! Get us!" Just
Get your guts!
just the hell shriek of
All right. You do that. You scream it out 3 or 4 times. And all of a sudden, Jenny reappears. Oh, wait. You're going to run for the gate. Right?
They're running for the gate. I'm running
For the gate.
into that little crevice.
All right. Just Desmond, or was Desmond and somebody else running for the gate?
I was going to go because I think I'm convinced that if I just believe I can pass through, my sanity's about gone. So I think that's the trick. That's what Heather's thinking.
Desmond, how do you feel?
I'm trying to time it to go with Jenny.
Okay. So, i.e., she goes up there, she goes quiet for a moment, and then begins to step forward, and you run. So you guys are side by side running at full sprint, and you get there just as Ginny passes into it. You both do 1d4 of damage from smacking headlong into the wall.
Ooh, a 4. Ouch.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
casually saunter over to the chemistry or the chemical storage.
Oh, my nose.
And there's here too. I feel pretty lucky about that.
Okay.
Probably.
Heather, you hit 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Heather, that at least you fell down.
Yeah.
I probably fell down too.
Desmond, yeah, you probably, well, at least you're stumbling around next to her.
Yeah.
And Margaret has run over and is screaming out the hole. Dr. Ethan, Dr. Leash, what are you up to?
I'm grabbing the book and her the tome, the magic tome,
Okay.
and her notebooks, and I'm putting them all together.
Okay.
Put them in a blanket or whatever, and have them over my shoulder. That way, when Jenny and I need to run, we can run.
Dr. Leash?
I'm heading to the chemicals.
Oh, yes, you said that. Okay. All right, so rather quickly, after Margaret has screamed a few times, Jenny suddenly reappears, looks down at Heather and Desmond, and looks over at Margaret and says, "Stop screaming! What are you doing?"
Nothing. I was gonna after her screaming, gonna make for that.
The place you can't reach?
Yeah, that was pretty
All
close
right.
to it on the map, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you scoot there as Ginny is moving towards you. And you get there first and squeeze in there, and she can't reach you, but she's trying to.
Jenny, we're not animals. We can't live in here forever.
Dr. Leash, you were heading for the chemicals, so you've gotten to the chemicals. What do you do?
I'm gonna make something that'll either make a lot of fumes, a lot of heat, or a lot of energy.
Okay, a thermal reaction of some sort.
Yeah,
that-
very exothermic.
That should be that's the word I was looking for. That's going to be fairly easy to do. Do you want something that explodes or just flames up and makes toxic smells?
Flames up might be easier, given
Okay.
the time constraints.
Okay, so you've gotten to her chemical stuff, and you start putting stuff together, and you know that in just a second it's going to send blue and yellow flames up.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to activate it just yet. I'm going to have them in
Okay.
2 beakers. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Dr. Carlisle, chaos is going on all around you, but you've got the books put together. Willie has come running out, and he's like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Is there any other books I could take and tie him to and hang him off of his collar? I want to hold on to this book, but is there lots of stuff?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff. She's been
See,
keeping notes for
if I could
years. And
Grab 2 blankets. One is her notebooks and the Mythos tome. I have it wrapped in a blanket with me. I grab everything else that I can, slide it into a thing, tie it to the dog's chain. And I say, keep this safe for Mom.
okay.
And then I go, Jenny, I got your books, I got your notes. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let everybody else go. Grab Noelle. We gotta go.
Dr. Leash, you are standing a few inches from the detonator and the wires, and it suddenly occurs to you that the police are upstairs and there's not really any place for Jenny to go, but she might blow the whole place up.
Is there anything sharp?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Those wires are getting cut.
All right. And just as you're doing that, that's probably exactly what happens. She gives up on Margaret and comes around the corner and she says, I'm not going to let them get me.
They're not going to get you. Let's get out of here.
There's no place to go.
We'll find a place. Move the fucking boulder. Let's go. I have all your stuff
go
here.
join your friends in that damn pit, Jenny.
She's like, it's all falling apart. It's all falling apart.
It's your fault.
Margaret, you're not helping.
Margaret has so much pent up hatred.
The puppy has all of your notes. I have the rest here. Move the boulder, we'll run.
She immediately runs forward to where the big boulder is. Ethan and the dog are right behind her. And as she opens it up,
finish the circuit, blow her up.
She gets it about halfway open. And you can see that there are at least 7 cops standing outside with whatever guns police have.
9mm.
And it looks like a SWAT team at this point.
Oh, SWAT?
Yeah, kind of that.
So like machine guns and crap.
And as she steps out, a lot of them take a couple steps backwards, but then Ethan comes out right after her. Ethan, do you want to do anything?
Yeah. Do not fire. Do not fire. The cave is rigged to explode. One shot and we all go up. Do not fucking shoot.
Don't listen to him.
There's a couple of moments that you see a look come over Jenny's face of fight or flight. But then all of a sudden, she just goes calm. And she looks down at you, Ethan, and she says, well, at least Noelle is okay. And she puts her 4 hands up. And the terrified cops...
I was going to say something.
Well, they sort of move her over to the side, the 2 of you, and then they see the dog, and of course it's the same fucking thing again there, like this. But...
you need to call full wilderness. This is a government project. Call full wilderness.
I'm coming out.
Well, and you can actually see that Robert. Not Robert. Slade.
Richard.
Roger. Is it Roger Slade?
Richard
Slade.
Yeah.
He's there. There's a few people. And your assistants are all there as well.
It took you long enough. Where were you?
Richard, we have answers, Richard. The answers are here.
Jenny surrenders.
I'm going to try to help Noelle up from the pizza party. Is there anything better for her to wear than a blanket?
At the moment, no.
No. All right. Maybe I'll give her a second one.
But you guys are all rescued. Some serious questions are asked, but Full Wilderness has enough clout that they throw up a bunch of legal smoke screens to keep you guys from being bothered. You guys go with Richard, and Jenny is incarcerated, though they don't even know how the hell they're going to do it. The dog is also taken. You are somewhat removed from what's going on, and you don't exactly know what all is going on. But of course, you're also going into her labs. You're taking out whatever things she's got. And you are eventually transported back to your hotel.
Somewhere in that kerfuffle, I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna take Slakes aside, and ask him, is there anything that we can do to make sure that she's treated humanely?
We'll do whatever we can.
Because there is still a person in there
We don't even know what that is.
somewhere.
So
Also, the thing behind the big rock that's chained to the wall should probably be released from its misery.
obviously she's been participating in some sort of bizarre genetic manipulation, weird, crazy stuff that was
You could call it that.
Biazine. And
So whatever else happens, we have to be back here in 17 days.
Thank you. I was about to say that.
So the aftermath of this, well, first of all, I'm going to give you all a sanity boost of 1d8 for escape, for finally getting the hell out.
7.
4.
1. Yeah.
Hey,
I guess I'd lost hope.
for sleeping in nice beds again. You'd almost forgotten what real food tastes like, and what toilet. How wonderful is a toilet?
Yes.
Going to the Scat Cat Lounge, having a drink.
Yeah, listening to some soft jazz and
Showers, privacy.
Yep.
Who's
Probably-
taking charge of Noelle?
Noelle is being taken to the medical center to be checked out. What you learn over the course of the next week, Noelle seems to be in perfect health, and she does seem to be recovering now that she's under in a clinical condition that they can help her. She's not sure that she remembers everything the way that it was, but she will probably recover, have nightmares for a while. The interesting thing is Jenny.
mm-hmm.
Jenny becomes the new sensation. She is a freak of nature. Photographs of her get out very quickly. Rumors go around. People suddenly start wanting her on their talk shows. And she does it. There's legal matters, but a lot of the problems that she's had for the legal things, the weird shit she's been in, it's kind of being downplayed. People come forward with the idea that, they're willing to design a house where she could live in San Damiel, and the dog. People are just, completely freaked out about this. Anyways, it's all put up to being bizarre, unnatural, genetic manipulation, horrible experiments. Jenny becomes the victim in all of this, that mad scientists were obviously doing weird things to her, and that they all remember when she was a bodybuilder, and that she was taken advantage of and fed some sort of genetic altering chemicals. And her story, you read it for maybe a couple of weeks. She's on the Today Show, and she's on this.
Geraldo
and
see Raphael.
And it's weird how after just a couple of weeks people forget about it. It's not important anymore. You now know more or less where she's living in San Damiel, where they've made facilities for her. They had to convert, a 2-story building into a 1-story building. And
there are no criminal charges?
Well, they've been kind of covered up. Yeah, there's some legal problems there, but
what's the fellow who fled to Canada? They blame it all on him.
Finley?
Yeah,
they're blaming it on strange experiments done by a scientist who was possibly killed in the accident. And then something happens. There's an interview where Jenny is very excited to announce that she's pregnant. And
damn it, Dr. Carlisle.
I hand a cigar to Carlisle.
Exactly. Time to buy some Havanas.
Yeah.
And the next day she's disappeared. And rumors begin to spread, thanks to her neighbors, that she was taken by the Men in Black.
Right.
Would we have had the chance to talk with her?
Yeah.
Before all this?
No, not really.
Okay.
She's been because they've got security around her. They're not sure what she's all about, but
I definitely would have tried to.
And once the media started in on it, it was almost impossible to get in there.
Now, other question about following up on things later.
Yeah.
Did Dr. Quiz ever bring us that device?
Did you go back there at
absolutely
time? Yeah, the entire lab has been cleaned out, and nothing ever comes of it.
All right, that was a waste of a blood sample.
But
Yeah,
I do have the book, correct?
Double crossing.
Yes, you do have De Vermis Mysteries
and her notes.
Some of them.
Well, what I could grab, yeah.
So the ones that you secreted away. Otherwise, they took them away from you. After you stepped out of the thing. But you actually do have the printout that was in Noelle Rand's car.
Right. So the book and the printout?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do I get any Cthulhu Mythos for seeing that resurrection, or?
That is a good question. Yes, you can all do a Cthulhu Mythos skill roll for all of this shit that you
Right.
Yeah.
Mine went up by 10 points.
Holy crap.
7 points up. So I'm at a 9.
5.
What'd you get, Dr. Leash?
1 point.
Yeah, take 3 at least.
I'm up to 14.
Same here.
Me too.
Dangerously knowledgeable.
14. There we go.
14 club.
I wonder
There
if
was some pain, but there were some gain.
we're gonna get tapped by Delta Green at some point.
Yeah.
Somehow I always end up playing hardened skeptics. Minimal sanity loss, almost no Cthulhu Mythos.
It's the firearms.
Oh, nope, I don't believe it.
There's this is all just some mass hallucination.
It's LSD in the water.
GM question: how much time has passed from the police incident to wherever we're at?
Let's say another 2 weeks.
Now,
so you guys can improve your health and your sanity.
now, do I need like professional help?
Yeah, Full Wilderness has a therapist talk to you. Of course, the problem is that almost nothing you say the therapist is going to actually believe.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to reveal. I'm just gonna mix everything into something that makes sense to the doctor because
They'll deal with your Stockholm syndrome. And,
Right.
My assistant, who had his face bitten off by an eldritch controlled monstrosity, has a pretty good psychoanalysis and psychology.
and they share
You
a
could
lot.
maybe Hayden could sit down and talk to him.
So it's up to you whether you share all of your information with your assistants and vice versa.
Yeah, at this point, after seeing what happened to his face, I'm definitely going to be like, what? That's going to spark a conversation. Like, what happened to you?
Okay.
And if
so,
Margaret suggests I talk with him and I could trust him, then I would make him the reality. Like I'd tell him what I really saw.
So you have a meeting later on in the day after you've been relaxing with Richard Slakes, and he says, Robert thinks that you've satisfied a good portion of this, of what we're trying to find out. But now that we know it's far deeper than we ever imagined, he would very much like for you to go to Toronto and see what you can figure out about Rothersham Industries. Now, the best that we can come up with is they're just a drug manufacturer. They deal almost entirely in antipsychotic drugs used in the psychiatric field. But everything seems to indicate that Don Biazon was sending some of that liquid to them as well. So we have plane tickets for you. If you're willing to continue, you'd be leaving day after tomorrow.
Okay.
We're all getting paid triple for the time that we were
you're definitely
imprisoned by a maniac giantess.
Oh, they pay you less because you didn't have to buy food.
Yeah, you didn't do any work.
Now,
Is that hazard pay?
at the beginning of those 2 weeks, I'm going to grab Dr. Desmond and be like, I have the book. And since I don't read Latin, I would like you to see what you can figure out with this. Keep me in the loop.
Yeah, and I have my own hand copy of the passage that I found intriguing too, so I can compare it against your text. And
then we have the printouts also.
If Dr. Mills wants to continue to work on it. I mean, I assume the first week we spend in...
Yeah, but I figure you could get more work done with it in a day than I could in 6 months, so I don't read Latin.
You spend your first week getting mani pedis. And
I spent it in a bottle of wine.
I don't think I get out of bed for 3 days.
Yeah.
There's that treatment where you put your feet in ponds where fish eat the dead skin off.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they did that back in the the 90s.
Now, what sanity do we get back for the 2 weeks? Is there any additional sanity recovery?
Yeah, give yourself 1d10 plus 5.
All right.
That seems reasonable.
6 points. I got a 1.
15.
There you go. So Margaret's back to normal.
Bro, I'm at 25. It's the best I've felt in like months.
22.
13. Oh no, 11. Something.
So
back up to where I started.
If you would like to go over what you would like to do before you go to Toronto, we can do that. But we'll cut before you go to Toronto. We'll pick up in Toronto.
Right. So in addition to studying our friend Veramis.
Mhm.
And yeah, a lot of tequila. Yeah, and I want to go to the Fat Cat. Say
Scat
goodbye to
Cat.
the Fat Cat, Scat Cat.
Yeah. I'm going to.
Well, it's assumed that you will be coming back.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna pick up some unmarked clothes with no labels or anything on them, just very plain, drab, gray t-shirt, black zip-up hoodie, jeans.
I'm going to check the weather reports in Toronto, see if it's like they're having heat waves like we are out here in California. I'm also going to do research where this industry is located in Toronto, checking out the maps, see where it's the public face of it's located.
Dr. Mills, what you find out is that unusually, they're having heat waves all over the United States, including Toronto. And it's not the United States, but North America. North America is having heat waves. They're even having heat waves some places in Europe. Very unusual. I don't know. You said you wanted to go up to the bar. You get up to the bar with your assistants. Now you guys all kind of share a table because you now feel like you're together, and you've got just Panther is playing in the background, playing the jazz, and so he I'll just say, let's say at the halfway point, he comes over and he says, he says, I see y'all come back.
Yeah, wouldn't want to miss an opportunity to hear you play again.
Are you back on another vacation, or I don't?
We're just
quite a while.
Strictly business.
Say now, didn't I see y'all in the newspaper lately?
Some of us you might have, yeah. We know the famous lady with too many arms.
You were stuck, with the lady there. That was.
Yeah, business trip gone wrong.
Now, is that all true, or are they exaggerating about some of that? I've seen some pictures, but they can make those.
The media, they embellish.
Some of it's true, some of it isn't.
Well, what about her disappearing now?
We know nothing about that.
That is interesting.
Yeah, they said in the newspaper, I think it said something about the Men in Black.
Well,
you know what the media is all about.
Everybody's looking for conspiracy everywhere. Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of groups, and most of them wear black.
It's useful at night, son.
You all enjoy your evening.
Will do, sir.
And he goes back to playing jazz.
Oh, yeah. I'm interested in the process of us bonding with our assistants now that our assistants have all seen something impossible and terrible.
what are you talking about? I just watched a bunch of porno tapes. It was awesome.
Jack is sitting at his own table alone.
Well, for one thing, your assistants probably scold you, and they tell you that they want a solid itinerary of what you are doing, so that they know where to look for you when you get captured by giantesses with 4 arms.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point.
There is a non-zero chance that Jenny has gone to Toronto after all.
Yeah.
Wonder how long she gestates.
I'm worried that if in fact it is true, Men in Black might come for me.
I don't know. I don't think they'll come for you, buddy, but the enormous amount of child support.
Yeah.
Unreal.
You might want to go into hiding anyway.
A lot of food.
The enormous sex.
Yeah. I am going to the next day swing by and say hi to Sasquatch Watch and let them know that we found the Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's true. Their faith in us, after all, was well rewarded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Table Rock is a very special place.
That big giant was the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Stay clear of the locusts.
Yeah.
But I want to tell them that number is still good, and if anything else around that rock does start up again, or there are more sightings or anything, please feel free to contact that.
They say that they will.
And how much of Mother's milk is still at the lab?
Not much. In fact, most of the last little bit was used in an experiment to see if they could recreate the creature, which they were able to.
And what kind of brain did they let it eat?
They didn't. However, it didn't last very long.
Like the dark young, it wasted away.
Right.
I would have given it a rat brain. But I wasn't there. I was in a cave.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, the one thing that involves parasitology, and I was being held captive by a giant mad woman. My time to shine. I was in a cave.
Yeah.
I'd also like, Full Wilderness, of course, is responsible for Noelle's care indefinitely. I'd like to make that very clear to Slakes, etc.
Yeah, they have no problem.
How are our catatonic friends doing?
They've been, Chuck is slowly recovering, but he's taken a mental trauma. He's probably broken permanently.
Now, does Chuck have neck and back problems? Because
No.
I'm assuming that's where she got the extra parts for Noelle.
No.
No, we think that she just squoze him to death and then brought him back to life as a test.
Anyway, can we end it there then?
Yeah.
I just hold on. One more thing is, would it be worth? Because when we wanted to go get Jenny, I also wanted to see if we could talk to Gall because he's up in an asylum.
Oh yeah.
I just wonder if he used to work for Don Biozyme. He was doing some crazy stuff with the liquid. Like maybe he has a bit more insight into what they're doing with it up in Canada. Maybe
Gall is a stark raving lunatic.
Yep.
He says
Plants.
it would be impossible to glean any information out of him that it wasn't mixed with butterflies and rainbows and sewer people and everything else.
It's all the sewer people.
It doesn't make any sense.
And speaking of sewer people, how is the homeless population of San Damiel?
Continuing to drop.
Ugh, damn it.
And any news from the search for a little white globule friend from the farm?
None. No trace of it.
Lovely.
All right. So let's call it there. Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Brian Daly, Keith Craig, Jason Melnichuk, and David Gasaway, with yours truly as Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing up to 5 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.